What's going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Game Day Playbook Live Show. You're taking a look today at the 11-game Wednesday main slate, final slate before 4th of July here. We've had some fireworks already going off, one of the top prospects in baseball.
Look at you.
Brooks Lee getting called up. Royce Lewis to the IL. He is in the Minnesota Twins lineup here today. He is $2,000 min price at shortstop. Shortstop tonight, loaded. So whether or not you're deciding to spend down, I guess there'll be a determination of your lineup construction. But James, how we doing, man?
Yeah, I mean that was one of your that was some of your finest work on the intro. Usually you're not there's something in the air here because you've been softening a little bit on the dad joke humor, so there's something in the air. I smell it. But yeah, fine work by you. Doing well. I'm personally like I respect a good 4th of July celebration. I'm here for like the fireworks. I'm here for all that stuff. Or I'm here for the grilling. Yeah. I enjoy the food of 4th of July. I'm not necessarily as a pet owner like yourself, John.
Yes.
I don't enjoy my dogs being petrified for like 6 straight hours. So
yeah.
I have become grumpy old man on my porch when it comes to fireworks. So happy 4th to all those that enjoy celebrating that holiday and are gonna have fun. But about as soon as the fireworks start, that's when my fun really ends.
Sure. Let's pull up today's slate again. We have a lot to talk about. 11 games. Pitching. Chris Sale is your top priced starter here for the evening. $10,200 going up against San Francisco. Zach Wheeler, $9,800 against the Cubs. Logan Gilbert gets Baltimore. Ronel Blanco is $9K against Toronto. Chris Sale, cover of the pre-show, guy that you and I were high on. San Francisco does have good numbers against lefties here. Are you still in on Sale for today?
Yeah, I mean, he, regardless of matchup, has just been as good as anyone across baseball, especially missing bats. I mean, outside of the random Oakland blow up, dude, like this just tells you all you need to know. Like 2 random blowups for Chris Sale this year, Oakland and Miami. Those are his 2 bad games. Every other start he's made has been dynamite. The strikeout upside is as good as anyone on the slate. So San Francisco is fine against lefties, but it's not something that I'm shying away from. I mean, the White Sox were fine. The Yankees were fine. Tampa Bay's better splits are against lefties, right? Washington's better splits are against lefties. Did not have a singular problem with any of those teams. Right. 25 plus fantasy points in all 4 of those games. So the Chris Sale train doesn't stop here.
I like it.
Obviously, Zach Wheeler's a perfectly fine pivot if you'd like to go there. He is also quite good at pitching.
He is also quite good at pitching. That's a fair assessment. He gets the Cubs here. He's $9,800. I'm not going to go Logan Gilbert here against Baltimore. Where are you with Ronel Blanco? This is a guy you and I have just been waiting for the wheels to fall off. Against the Mets, one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball, that team. 6 runs, but only 3 earned. He gave up 3 homers, 3 straight games with 3 walks. Toronto's coming in. Some really hot hitters in their lineup, like Guerrero, George Springer. Is tonight the night that Ronel Blanco just completely implodes?
Whether it is or whether it is, if the question is, would I use Ronel Blanco, I'd probably rather use Toronto bats than I would use Blanco.
Sure.
I think that's really where I stand. I'm not necessarily using either, but I'd be more inclined to use bats against Blanco.
Yep, I would 100% agree with you there. Not really looking to go. Gavin Stone's cover of my playbook today, going up against Arizona. Complete game shutout against Chicago last time out. Early in the year, we were kind of knocking him for the lack of strikeouts, but over his last 6 or so starts, at least 6 strikeouts in 5 of those outings. Big favorite today again against Arizona here. I like Stone. Where are you going when it comes to the mid-tier?
Yeah, I mean, his win equity tonight, they are bringing up Mina to start.
Yeah.
So making his major league debut is against the Dodgers. I saw Shohei Ohtani like almost plus 170 to homer today. is pretty good odds. So like, welcome to the show. You get Shohei. Yeah, I mean, I think it's Stone. Imanaga is fine. Philly, obviously, even without some of their best hitters and with Harper on the IL, like they're still good against lefties. But
Sure.
Shota obviously has had a couple down games. I'd be okay going there. I don't have like much interest in like this 8K tier other than Stone. Like Rodon's obviously struggling, and it hasn't even necessarily been like bad luck. The Toronto start was a little bit of bad luck, 3 xFIP compared to what it was. Cincinnati actually has fallen kind of down the list in terms of left-handed hitting or left-handed pitching hitting. They're like 15th in OPS, which is
Yeah.
definitely worse than it was earlier in the year. But even we saw Ellie homer against a lefty last night. So like that is obviously a good sign considering it's been his worst split. Kikuchi, I'm okay with it. But even in his recent performances haven't been great. He also has to face Jordan Alvarez, who's better against lefties tonight. That's the split that he takes advantage of.
Yeah.
So
Houston in general hits lefties pretty well. So I was kind of off. You say here, when we did the morning show, we thought Daniel was going to be pretty chalky. Now, again, we're waiting for the official updates here on the ownership. But the early run did not have him getting, a lot of looks here. I liked Waka and Daniel. I wrote them both up in the playbook here. Festa is a popular play today in terms of win equity. Where are you when it comes to these like value plays tonight?
yeah, I mean, I think it's those 3 particular guys. I do expect Daniel, whether the ownership tells us or not. I do think Daniel will get more ownership than what we're being given now. I mean, he's coming off again 8 scoreless, 8 strikeouts, and now faces the team that has struck out more than any other team in baseball against right-handed pitching since June 1st and second in the league. So I do think Daniel is very interesting. I do think Michael Wacha has a very appealing spot against Tampa Bay, and Michael Wacha, not known for his strikeouts. There is obviously strikeout appeal with Tampa Bay and their 25% strikeout rate against righties. I do think it's going to be a festival in Minnesota tonight. You mentioned on the show last night, like didn't get a lot of strikeouts. Well, Arizona does not strike out a lot against right-handed pitching. That's kind of been their MO this year. There was also a giant lead. He was like basically being thrown out there like, hey, throw strikes. It's your debut. You have like a 13-run cushion.
Right.
Has been a strikeout guy at every single level he's pitched at, and not just like one strikeout per inning. Like he's been well into 10, 11, 12 double-digit K per 9. So I think it's a festival there in Detroit or against Detroit, 67. The only other name I'd really throw out there is Pepio. I think that if anyone in this 7K tier has like potentially double-digit strikeout upside, it would be him for me. Mm-hmm. I know Kansas City isn't necessarily a team that does strike out a lot, but we're talking about a guy in 3 of his last 5 starts. He's had 8+ strikeouts. Obviously, the Pittsburgh start didn't go too well. A lot of pitches and not a lot of innings. Same thing kind of goes for the Atlanta start. But Casey has been slowing down offensively, and also the strikeout rate has slowly ticked up. 19% strikeout rate against righties this year, but since June 1st, it's nearly 22%. So, like, obviously trending in the wrong direction there. So the only other name I'd say Pepio, and I think when you just look at the body of work, I mean, amongst all these guys down here, he probably has as much upside as anybody else. So.
Sure. I agree with the strikeout rate for sure. We liked him coming over from the Dodgers. Hasn't really, taken off like we expect. We expect pitchers to go to Tampa Bay and then all of a sudden like turn into Cy Young contenders. Savali didn't make already got shipped out, and now, Pepio pitching to a 4.5 ERA, wondering what's going to come there. But hey, Shane Baz on the way. That rotation, but to get a bit more interesting. Excited to see what the first Baz price tag is going to be on the slate that we get in with that one. Catcher here. If you want to spend up, you can. There's cores on this slate, obviously. Milwaukee, William Contreras against Dakota Hudson. Will Smith going to hit second. Maney again making his debut, 57. You want to go there, you can. Where are you looking to start some lineup build tonight at catcher?
I mean, Yanir Diaz, 4,100 is definitely interesting. Ryan Jeffers, 44 against Montero. Montero's given up a lot of power through his first 2 starts, or first 2 outings, I should say, because he came in as a long man last time out. Jose Trevino has been good against left-handed bats in Yankee Stadium, so that's an interesting spot for me. Nothing else like really stands out. I don't know if you have any like punt
Not
kickers.
really. We mentioned Rodfred obviously this
So
morning.
he's been so good.
$2,900, but other than that, yeah, there's not really much else down here that you'd be looking to kind of plug in. So again, we'll have some more official lineups out as we get closer to roster lock. Maybe maybe a different catcher would pop, but for the most part, I think we're kind of living in this.
We're not playing, by the way. Just came out with the Rays lineup.
Don't
Jackson
even get
starting.
Roper there. So killer for that. First base, Dodgers plays Ohtani, Freeman. This is where I wrote in the playbook, you kind of have to make your decision, right? Like, are you playing cores? And if you're not playing cores, then you can kind of spend up and play some different pieces here, because obviously Ohtani, Freeman are in great spots. But we like Spencer Steer against Rodon. He's 4,900. Vladdy against Blanco. Bowers against Hudson. Pasquantino, if you're not in a Pepio, like there's a pretty good shot here in the first base tier.
Yeah, I do think first is very interesting. I mean, like the problem obviously with playing Bowers and cores is that if there's a lefty that comes in, he's getting pitch hit. I mean, it's an immediate pinch hit situation. Milwaukee has become I have so many people on my team that I mix and match. Like, I'm going to pinch hit for these guys. It's like the Twins last year.
Yeah. Wallner, as soon as the lefty came in, Wallner was out. Whatever it was.
And who's our lefty specialist there, the outfielder?
Larnick?
No. It'll come to me by the end of the show. He used to hit lefties well. But yeah, I mean, that would be my only like hesitation with playing Bowers. I mean, plus obviously has slowed down drastically since the beginning of the year, but it is cores still. Naturally, last night I stacked cores. They had 7 total runs, and
but they had like 20 men left on base in that game. So
20 men left on base. Yeah. So I do think both Reds guys are obviously interesting. I think both Twins guys are really interesting as well, because you could. Well, actually, only one of them's first base eligible.
Yeah, now. Miranda, they got rid of his first base eligibility there.
I do think that there's a lot of interest for me today at first for Nathaniel Lowe, and I'm not just like because he homered twice yesterday. Like, yes, it's obviously plays part, but he's been pretty good lately. Yeah. And when you look at Adam Mazur's numbers, dude, holy smokes, they are bad against lefties. And like, I get it. It's a very small sample. He has been in Major League Baseball for a very limited time. He is a top prospect. But like, it's kind of alarming when you see a guy with numbers against lefties this year. He has 10 innings pitched, 9 earned runs, 2 home runs, 13 walks, 548 slug, 452 WOBA allowed. His 906 FIP and 863 xFIP against left-handed batters don't really suggest much much bad luck going on his side. 2.7 WHIP. I mean, negative 18% K to walk ratio. It's just like they have 3 really good lefties. That I don't know. Do we have? I didn't actually look to see if Seager was back in the lineup today before I started this rant. He is not. But I mean, Smith, Lowe hitting 2-3 are incredibly intriguing to me as like a little duo. So I really like Nathaniel Lowe at 3,600.
Yeah, and even a little bit below her, you have Dubon against Kikuchi at 32, and JD Davis is hitting cleanup again against Abbott at $3,200. Some guys that you could plug in there. At second base, this is another loaded position we talked about this morning. If you wanted to spend up, you could, go with Terang or Altuve, up top. But when we got into this like mid and low 4K tier, there's a run of like 8 guys that we would pretty much rattle off and play. Do you have a favorite at second base?
Probably India against the lefties, back hitting 300 plus against lefties. He's obviously on quite the tear, although his over yesterday. I mean, okay, the guy's allowed to not have one game with a hit, considering what he's done lately.
Nope, he's supposed to hit 500 the whole season.
That's fair. That's a fair expectation. And he had 6. He had 6 fantasy points in a game he didn't hit in. So like, still wouldn't kill you. He's still too cheap for current form. Obviously, Rodon has been at his worst in his last 3 starts, so probably India, but like Castro's a solid play. Rengifo's good. Massey is interesting if you don't want to play Pepio. So any of
Yep.
those guys for me.
Agreed. And then if you want to go a little bit further down, Brendan Rodgers against Colin Ray's 37. You mentioned Gleyber Torres starting to hit the ball a little bit better of late. 3,500 for him against a lefty. So certainly some value plays. I don't mind Geloff if you think that Daniel is going to regress at all. Again, 27-year-old dad, a 5.5 ERA at AAA this year. And then all of a sudden he comes up and does an 8-inning shutout in his first start. Feels like there's a chance that that doesn't happen second time around. So, Geloff at 32 for me. We appreciate you all in the chat here today. If you have any comments, feel free to throw them in there. We're all happy to help you out. Our guy Don, Swave, Icy Through You, Pod Degen, all in there looking to get it going. Third base. Are we spending up here today?
I mean, you can always play Bohm. I think Bohm is kind of never played because it's priced, but also you look up and you're like, oh, that guy has a ton of RBIs this year. So there's definitely a merit to getting there. I think the same thing can be said for Riley with how good he's been. Machado's been great, and he's been great on the road. Obviously, Colin Ray struggles with lefties. Ryan McMahon is a lefty, so you could play any of those. But you don't have to. I think there's a bunch of mid-tier plays that make more sense than him.
Notably, we're big Jose Miranda guys.
We are. We sure are.
Fifth tonight.
Fifth. Let's go. We made it here. Like I think what did we say on the show this morning? We were like, oh, he's gonna hit 8th, and then
no Royce Lewis, right? They just
we got the Lewis. Well, we got as the show went on, we ended the show with the terrible Royce Lewis news. Also, I don't know if you saw how dire or how bad the interview was with Royce Lewis, but he basically said, "Yeah, I am not optimistic that
he still legged out a double."
Did leg out a double? Well, legged out is an interesting term.
Limped out. He still limped out a double.
He definitely did not leg out the double. He definitely. I mean, he used his legs. I guess I guess you're not technically wrong.
It's true. Against righties this year, Miranda 327 batting average, a 220 ISO, 393 weighted on base. So. Sneak preview for the 4th of July show that I recorded with Howard Bender already. We have a 5-man twin stack in that lineup. So we're all in on Minnesota. Hey, this is a Minnesota Twins show, as you all know who followed us from last year. We're back in, full in. Miranda 37, easy play for us tonight. Again, if you want to go Bregman against a lefty or Smith versus manager here, 100% like the plays, fit your stack. That's great. We're going to save some money. We're going to go down to Jose Miranda today.
Yes, sir.
Shortstop. Now, this is where it gets interesting because I think yesterday we liked to spend up. Today we have a $2,000 Brooks Lee. Yeah. Making his debut. Top prospect in their organization. Guy does not strike out. It's got like a 1-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
A lot of power.
At AAA. 306 ISO, 1,000 OPS. He's $2,000.
Big power.
A lot of power. This is an 8th overall pick last year, 2 years ago, or something like that. So, yes, a lot of nice upside here for Brooks Lee at 2K. So, money saver on a core slate or a 10K pitcher slate makes sense to get Brooks Lee in your lineup. However, you have Gunnar Henderson, Bobby Witt, Ellie De La Cruz, Trey Turner, Willie Adames, Carlos Correa. Can't really go wrong with the top guys here at the position either.
No, I said it when we were recording the show last night. Like, it's hard to look at Rodon's form and then look at Ellie's form and be like, man, can't play that guy. It's like, well, that guy has as much upside as anyone in baseball when he's doing what he's doing lately. Trey Turner double-donged yesterday and has a struggling Imanaga on the mound. It also has great home run odds again today. I don't know if you saw that, but Trey Turner, really good home run odds, which I found really interesting. Willie Adames, obviously struggling, but back-to-back really good games in cores. Was struggling previously to cores. 5 hits in 2 games and gets a righty, which has been his MO. But also Dakota Hudson, good against righties, really big ground ball rate. So I'm not as prone to get to Willie Adames, but Correa hitting 3rd, I think is very interesting. Home runs in 2 of his last 3 games and a lot of production against right-handed pitching this year. Yeah, this is a loaded shortstop position. Maybe even we haven't even mentioned headlined by Bo Bichette hitting fourth tonight. I'm just kidding, not actually, but
clean up the other day, or hit lead off the other day. Couldn't do anything. They're just moving him around the lineup to like.
Can you hit in this spot? Yeah, can you?
Yeah.
Jeremy Pena
he can hit on the bench, maybe. You know?
Yeah. Hit the gum bucket, right? With his bat.
Go to.
He might swing and miss that. He might swing and miss hitting the bucket.
Well, go hit it. Go hit a AAA. Edmundo Sosa has hit good numbers against lefties. He's $3,600, but again, 2K Brooks Lee, probably a good spot if you're looking to save some money. Because when you go to the outfield, you have Ohtani's $6,600. It's nice to pair a 2K shortstop with Ohtani. You have Judge, Yelich against Hudson, Soto, Ozuna, Jordan versus a lefty. We've talked about that. He homered yesterday. Great numbers against left-handed pitching. So plenty of reasons to find value elsewhere, given how loaded outfield is today.
I think Brooks Lee is your perfect correlation to Ohtani or Judge, right? Like that's because I think like you said it like last week. You were like, did you know that if you bet on like all the top 10 guys in the league to homer tonight, you would have been like $1 million.
Yeah, we wouldn't be on the show right now.
Yeah, we would. I know we'd be on our fantasy alarm branded boat.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, it's every day, right? Like Shohei killed somebody last night.
I saw that. Yeah.
Gambles on baseball allegedly.
No, he did not. He was frauded.
Right, frauded on baseball. Now he's taking kids out in the outfield,
But yes, over the last month, there are less days that he didn't homer than he did. So
and same for John. And prioritizing one or both could be a very profitable approach. I'm sure that's a really rocket scientist galaxy brain thought, but getting Brooks Lee 2K, I think perfect correlation. And obviously, if you want to play Yelich over them, like Godspeed, and he's in cores, and that's great for you. But
it's simple math. You do Brooks Lee and Ohtani, that is $4,400 a player, right? You divide it by 2, and now you've built 2 lineups with $4,400 players and an Aaron Judge before. So it's very doable to do that happen when you have a min price player on the slate like that. You just save so much money because usually the cheapest guy you're playing is like $3K, or like your punt catcher at 27. Now you're getting a $2,000 starter in your lineup today. So I also did the playbook today. If you go look at the outfield section of the playbook, it's like 40 people long. We try not to do that. We try to narrow it down for you. I couldn't. There's too many good outfielders in good spots, and they're all at $4,000. So kind of scrolling our way down here. If you want to go the Colorado bats, you can. Doyle, Jones, both of them are fine. Again, Brent Doyle, ridiculously good at home.
Ridiculously good at home.
Really good at home. Again, I don't mind Adolis here. He's starting to heat up a little bit. He's $4,500. Buxton against Montero, 44. Tell me Buxton's in the lineup. I assume he is, right?
He is. He's hitting 7th. Yeah.
Okay, of course, naturally. $4,400 though. Happy to put him in the lineup. Arozarena has been fine. You want to go more Twins? Kepler against Montero. Jackson Merrill, Sal Frelick, all of those guys, great spots. Wyatt Langford tonight, 4K. You can plug in there. Garrett Mitchell, Kelenic, Springer. There's a bajillion outfielders there in this low 4K tier. Pick a couple, pick one. There's so many options for you.
Yeah, I got nothing to really add there, just because you named the whole outfield, so we could just go into value.
There's a bajillion outfielders.
No, I agree. I completely agree. And then the value, you can play any of the Houston guys. Jake Myers hitting 5th is a very good lineup position for him. Hunter Renfroe, I think, is a cheap home run, $3,400. He's been pretty good.
Palacio hasn't been terrible. He has some speed.
Yeah, he's been good. And he's fast. So I think there's a lot of. I mentioned lefties against Missouri. I don't really want to play Travis Jankowski because he's been a corpse, but he is in the lineup.
So like I said, plenty of spots here. Let's see if we can do the Lee Judge Ohtani here. Let's just see if we can get it done.
I mean, we can, because you can just elect to not use a spend up pitcher, right? You can just play Daniel, and you can play either Waka, Festa, right? Like you
We could do Stone.
or Stone, right?
We do Stone Festa. I mean, that's still 4K at play, right? We like India.
Miranda at third.
Miranda, yeah.
And then we could still punt, you can still punt catcher.
Let's see. Trevino's 34. I mean, doesn't just do Heim maybe at 34 against Masher there?
Yeah, dude, I love it's really hard to look at the lefties and not be like, yeah, let's play them all.
Let's just, all right, we have 4,300 for a first base and an outfielder still. And there was a ton of cheap outfielders. So
Nathaniel Lowe, 3,600.
Yeah.
Keep the Texas party rolling.
5K. We're gonna get 3 outfielders or 5K and above here.
Feels well. I don't know. Maybe Spencer Steer, 49.
Let's do a one-off Spencer Steer here, and we could go value. Like, could we bump up? We probably go Sale.
Are you about this? You're trying to get the Yelich just go all 6K outfield here.
Do Sale Festa. With Heim, Lowe, India, Miranda.
You just got Judge and Ohtani in this lineup. That is insane.
With Sale,
That feels super awesome.
So, guys, you can make it happen. You can make it work. As we said, nobody's homering at a higher frequency, really, than Ohtani, Judge, and like Gunnar Henderson. So, we got 2 of those 3 in there for you tonight. Probably could get Gunnar if we didn't want to play Lee. Now we can't because we want Lee. So, good luck with your lineups. Have a happy 4th of July. No live show tomorrow. Obviously, we'll be eating hamburgers and hot dogs and grilling and all those things.
What's your number one 4th of July meal? If you can only have one, rest of your life.
You
only have one.
So obviously, I like barbecue ribs. So like, if you get a cookout with some ribs, like, could be down with that. If I said steak tips, nobody knows what that is outside of like New England. We've had this conversation before. So like,
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. So if I said like grilled steak tips, maybe people in the Northeast would know what I'm talking about. But we'll go the barbecue ribs for sure. Good way to go about it. What about yourself?
I'd probably just go with like a classic cheeseburger. I'm a cheeseburger guy.
Okay. I like cheeseburgers. Cheeseburgers are good. So we'll be back live on Friday. So me and James will be here on Friday for the live show. Be on the lookout for that. Preview show of Bender will be out momentarily. We did that this afternoon. So until then, everybody, we'll catch you later. Have a happy 4th of July.